Today's edition of Broadcast is brought to you by situationhub.com. Crisis communications better and faster. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Schedule a demo today. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Broadcast, where we give you bite-sized bits of best practices to help you be a better leader and a more effective communicator. I'm your host, Gerard Braud. You know the rules of YouTube. If you want more content from this channel, hit that subscribe button. If you want your friends to know, hey, watch this video, give it a thumbs up rating. So recently I was teaching a masterclass for situationhub.com. And one of the things I thought was interesting is that in this day and age that we're in, people are quoting Winston Churchill when he essentially said that you should never waste a good crisis. What does that mean? Let's take a look. Now, today is October 1st, 2020. Let's put a timestamp on this to add context. An expression has been going around during the COVID pandemic period here, never waste a good crisis. And I want to give you some context as to what that means. It means that every time there is a crisis, a learning opportunity has been created. So whether you experience the crisis where you are, or whether it happens to someone else, turn it into a learning opportunity. Use it as a time to revise your plans, use it as a time to create new plans, use it as a reason to get the support, the time, or the resources that you need to do what you need to do. And use every crisis as a time to build a new team. Now, I'm going to talk some today about Hurricane Katrina because I live 45 minutes outside of New Orleans. I'm in a rural community. I'm not on a co-op. The co-op's just down the road from me. I'm just off of the edge of the co-op lines. But I grew up in the country. I was raised in what was a sugarcane field. So I grew up with a rural life, just like many of you have. And I understand the thinking of people who live in these communities. And I understand that sometimes the people who hold our fate in their hands are older than we are and think differently than we are. But when it comes to crises, create learning opportunities. After Hurricane Katrina, when conferences would come to town, they would hire me to speak about the crisis and what went right and what went wrong. And we'll talk some about that and compare it to COVID-19. But I would often charter 2 and 3 and 4 buses and put 50 people on every bus and drive them into the disaster zone and spend 4, 5, 6 hours in the disaster zone teaching them lessons of what went right and what went wrong. So I believe every crisis is a living classroom, and COVID-19 is no different. As we speak about what is a crisis, I'd like to share a definition that I always use, which is it's any situation that has the ability to negatively affect an organization's revenue, reputation, and brand. That has the potential to be a crisis. So, are you wasting this current good crisis, or are you using this crisis to leverage your preparation for what comes next? If you want to do and prepare for what comes next, if you want help with a vulnerability assessment, a crisis communications plan, or a library of pre-written news releases, use the link on the bottom of the screen here and schedule a confidential call with me. Times are tough right now. We are in the middle of one big crisis with COVID-19, and compound crises are happening. If you want to be prepared, let's work together. Be well. For the Broadcast, I'm Gerard Braud.